All right, we are joined with head coach Ashley Johnston previewing the NCAA championship semifinals with Oklahoma, Florida, and Utah. Coach, we'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions.
We're super excited for this week. It's been a marathon, not a sprint. I've been saying that week after week, and here we are in the final week with an opportunity to compete on the biggest stage against the toughest teams in the country. And so since August and even before that, we've been working to build our culture, to build our gymnastics, to build the people, to be ready to take on any challenge. And I'm really excited about where our team's at. We've had a really good week in the gym. A lot of great work happening, a lot of just athletes challenging athletes to find that edge, to really make the jump from good to great in any environment, in any situation that they might step into. So overall, we're prepared, we're ready, we're in a really good spot, and now it's about how we own that process, how we carry that mentality from the moment that we leave to go to Fort Worth tomorrow all the way through to the final night of competition.
What do you think's the biggest improvement that you've seen this team make over this season?
I think the biggest improvement from this team is not shying away from the hard moments. It's something that we've worked really hard on, and both individually and as a team, of when faced with adversity, it's all about how you respond and how you approach the next moment. And I think we've seen that time and time again. I think about the moment that Makari got injured, and I think about how the team really rallied and came together in that moment to overcome adversity, to prioritize the right things, how Makari handled herself and how she has poured into the team and been an incredible leader. I could go through example after example, but I think that's the biggest improvement is in the face of adversity. This team knows how to turn the page and focus on the right things and handle hard moments well.
Kind of in a similar note, how do you feel like the experiences this team has gone through this season, whether it's been, starting out the year at a quad meet, what happened at regionals last week, have kind of prepared them for this moment, or even, I guess, past experience with so many upperclassmen on this team?
Yeah, having seven seniors, 4 super seniors and 3 regular seniors, I guess we'll say, having that experience and that perspective is incredibly valuable because they've done this enough times to know when it's going well and to know when it's not going well. And so to have that type of leadership that can step in and speak to those moments and help our younger ones learn that quicker and not to have to go through as many of those challenging moments to recognize, oh, this is how I need to adjust my approach. So that senior leadership has been really incredible. They've stood firm for the things that they want out of the season, and they've made sure to pour into the younger ones. And I think that's been a huge part of why we are where we are and what's going to help our younger ones continue to be successful moving forward.
What do you think, what was the biggest takeaway or lesson that you guys took away from the regionals?
Again, I'm going to keep going back to handling the hard moments well. That was a pressure cooker of an environment from the first day to compete with some really tough teams and to know that anything can happen. And even when we had a mistake, again, it was all about the response. And the team did that. They don't let the little things faze them. They trust each other. They trust their own gymnastics. They know how to get the job done, even if it's not a perfect night. And we carried that going into that final round of the regional championship of, again, finding ourselves in a couple of tough moments, but not letting that rattle us mentally, physically, and just continuing to rise up, put our head down, work, execute at a high level. And that's going to be important going into this week. We're competing against 3 incredibly challenging teams between Oklahoma, Florida, and Utah, and it's going to be anybody's game. We're not going for perfection, but we're going to put as many pieces of the puzzle together as we can. And I think the team is capable, is talented enough to come out in a really good spot if we just focus on owning our process and making it progress, not perfection.
For those that maybe aren't as familiar, does having the same lineup, like rotation lineup, from the regional final and the first semifinal, like does that having that same rotation, does that help prepare at all for the fans who maybe not as familiar with it?
I think the team at this point is well versed and ready to handle any rotation order, whether it's an afternoon session, an evening session, a quad meet, a dual meet. I think the team has done this enough times now where they're ready for anything. I think really it's about understanding how to just focus on what we can do. I mean, we're going in a session against, I think collectively, I want to say our 4 teams have won about 24 national championships. You might have to check that number, but I think it's something like that. Whereas that other session has 0 national championships combined. And so we're really in a brutal session. It's a huge testament to how great all of these teams are, how great the landscape of college gymnastics is. But we've got to be on our game, and we've been preparing for that all week. Again, they've worked really hard. They know how to rise to challenges. They know how to own what they're doing. And so whatever the rotation is, whatever is going on, I think that's actually our strength right now is this team's learning to be unfazed by all of that noise. And I'm really excited for where they're at and what they're stepping into.
At a meet like this, when you have more eyes on you, I mean, there's more eyes from the fans, but even like there being more judges, what are some of the technical focuses knowing that like you're going to be judged a little stricter in a meet like this?
Yeah, it's great at a format like this. We've got 6 judges on each event, and so there's a variety of different, eyes, scores. That final score is going to look a little bit different. You're going to see 9.8333 or, just some different types of numbers. And so to prepare for that, we've been in the gym judging at different angles. Sometimes when you're sitting at a different place, watching on even bars, for example, it looks a little bit different. You can see some of the form or execution a little bit different from that angle. So we've technically been preparing for that, but ultimately I think it's a really positive thing to have 6 judges on each event. It usually provides a really consistent result across the board when you're able to drop high-low and really look at the middle ground of what that score is.
You talked about, I think it was after the Auburn meet, but kind of critiquing or changing their mental preparation. How have you seen, or what did you guys change? And then how have you seen that help this team from there on?
Mm-hmm. I think at that point, that was a really big turning moment. And we talked all about challenges. And I think for a while, they would talk about wanting that outcome or that win, but we're kind of shying away when we presented them challenges. And so there was some pretty deep conversations at that point, both from a staff standpoint and a collective athlete standpoint. I remember riding home on the bus from Auburn, where the team was having a meeting in the back of the bus and the coaches were having a meeting on the bus, and we were all kind of troubleshooting the same thing. And we sort of had a collective buy-in moment where it was we're gonna challenge you. Like, we're gonna create some pretty intimidating situations at times that you have a choice in. You're either going to step in and really try to learn how to conquer that moment, or you're going to take the cautious approach. And I think just having that really transparent conversation allowed the team to see that they were a decision away from being where they wanted to be. And they made that decision. And I think where they are right now is a huge testament to the work that they've put in and what they've done from a cultural standpoint to get that level of buy-in.
So talk to me a little bit about the fans. There's a big turnout at SECs. Obviously, it helps being in New Orleans. Do you expect, the same type of fan attendance to be in Texas? There's a send-off tomorrow as well. So what has this fan base meant to the team all season long?
To be able to look up in the stands and see Crimson, see that script A, to hear the Alabama coming from the stands, from the families, from the supporters, it just really helps us carry momentum. It makes our athletes feel like they're at home. So I think from the moment we show up at the airport tomorrow, we're just looking to have that family, just to be able to feel the love and the support and just carry us through the week. It's a difference maker. And we're thankful for it, and we're excited.
Any closing comments you want to add?
Roll Tide.